Hi. Several people have asked me lately, what exactly is plant-based? What is the difference between plant-based and vegan, and why I'm 100% plant-based but don't say I'm vegan? I will attempt to answer these questions, and yes, I'm wearing this t-shirt on purpose. Powered by plants. So firstly, what is plant-based? Plant-based is often referred to as whole food plant-based, or WFPB for short. It's a way of eating where the dietary pattern is predominantly or exclusively comprised of plants in their real, natural, whole form. A whole food plant-based dietary pattern includes fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, herbs and spices. It can also include some minimally processed foods like plant-based milks, for example oat milk, soya milk, almond milk, some soy products like tofu, tempeh and edamame beans, and ingredients like tamari sauce, which is fermented soy sauce, miso paste, apple cider vinegar and nut butters. It may include other processed foods such as whole wheat or legume pasta, oils such as olive oil and coconut oil, and even some whole food plant-based convenience foods. Ultra-processed foods are generally avoided altogether or kept to an absolute minimum to maximise calories from whole or minimally processed foods. Someone who eats a whole food plant-based dietary pattern can be plant exclusive and eat 100% plants like myself, or they can be plant predominant and incorporate a small amount of animal products such as a well-constructed Mediterranean, vegetarian or pescatarian diet. A whole food plant-based dietary pattern is highly anti-inflammatory and beneficial for health, and research suggests that to achieve the greatest health benefits, one should aim to be at least 85% plant-based, but any steps towards adding more plants to the diet is a step in the right direction. So rather than thinking about what you can't eat or think you can't eat, flip it and think about what whole plant foods you can add to your plate and become more plant-focused. Focus on what you want to eat and not on what you don't want to eat. So what's the difference between vegan and plant-based? Vegan is a type of plant-exclusive dietary pattern, 100% plants, but its prime focus is animal welfare. A vegan excludes all animal-based foods, including meat, fish, eggs, dairy, and even honey, as well as abstaining from the use of all animal-based products, for example, leather and suede, and even wool, for ethical reasons. As such, it's a whole lifestyle, not just what you put on your plate. A vegan diet is more about what a person is not consuming, and it's not necessarily designed for healthfulness of the diet. It can include anything from whole plant foods to ultra-processed foods, and hence doesn't automatically mean healthy. But a vegan diet comprised of 100% whole foods is the healthiest. In contrast, whole food plant-based refers to a dietary choice primarily focused on human health rather than the main focus being on animal welfare and ethics. A whole food plant-based dietary pattern is where all or most calories are obtained from whole plant foods. It is what science tells us we should be eating to decrease the risk of chronic disease and add quality of life and promote health. A plant-based lifestyle firstly considers human health, but also sees planetary health and all animals on the planet as ultimately connected and important. So someone who is whole food plant-based is coming more from a health point of view, whereas someone who's a vegan is coming more from an animal welfare point of view. But being vegan doesn't always equate to whole food plant-based, especially if they consume a lot of ultra-processed foods. And whole food plant-based isn't necessarily vegan unless it avoids using all animal products, not just eliminating animal-based foods. Why do I embrace a whole food plant-based lifestyle? I originally became plant-based for health reasons. It was a first major step for me on my healing journey. My body was inflamed and I had numerous systemic symptoms characteristic of an autoimmune disease, including major gut symptoms. I was trialled on various pharmaceutical medications, but they just added to my symptoms. At the time, I had a gut feeling, no pun intended, that to heal myself physically, mentally and emotionally, I needed to heal my gut. And the easiest way to start was with the food I chose to eat daily. 70% of our immune system is in our gut, and our gut is directly linked to the brain and vice versa via the vagus nerve. I went down many rabbit holes trying different diets, but once I discovered the health benefits of a whole food plant-based dietary pattern and how deliciously nutritious it is, I've not looked back. So why did I choose to be plant exclusive and be 100% whole food plant-based? I chose to jump in with both feet and go fully exclusive straight away to get the maximum health benefits possible. Being 100% whole food plant-based, I quickly started to feel better physically and mentally with increased health and vitality. And this helped maintain this way of eating as I knew how much better I felt being exclusively plant-based. But as well as being beneficial for human health, the whole food plant-based dietary pattern is also beneficial for planetary health and the welfare of animals. So for me, it's a win-win-win. Feels morally right as well as being biblical. Also, being 100% plant-based is more aligned with my core values of health, faith, love and kindness, authenticity, gratitude and courage. But as I said earlier, you don't have to be 100% plant-based, but aiming for 85% or greater has the most health benefits. However, if you consider planetary health benefits and the welfare of animals on top, there's a stronger case to consider a dietary pattern that is closer to 100% whole food plant-based. Being more conscious about how our food choices not only affect us, but the world and the people around us and the animals, we become more motivated to work towards a more sustainable solution for all. So I'm 100% plant-based, but why don't I say I'm vegan? Yes, technically, from a dietary point of view, I'm vegan. And yes, I care about animal welfare, but I refrain from calling myself vegan. As explained earlier, vegan is an ethical term and veganism is more really of a social justice movement to protect animals. Just saying the word vegan can be off-putting to some people as they may conjure up extreme, exclusive, possibly judgmental behaviours. But I don't want people to think they have to be vegan, which could be too extreme for some, or indeed that they must be 100% plant-based. I want to be inclusive and accept people wherever they are on the plant-based journey. So whether totally new to plant-based or wanting to increase the amount of plants in your diet. Also, I'd be hypocritical to say I'm vegan from 2 points of view. Firstly, I still have a few non-vegan items of clothing and shoes, though increasingly less and less. I now replace these items with vegan alternatives as and when they wear out, or in the case of one of my leather belts, when my daughter decides to acquire it. And the same with my shoes. I now always buy vegan. I especially love my vegan barefoot shoes from Viva Barefoot, Zach and Wilding. Also, I have some merino wool thermal tops and leggings which are not deemed vegan, but technically they're super warm for the weight and don't hold odours, which I love. I have tested out wearing a merino wool top for several weeks during my daily exercise and for several days working hard in the Arctic without it smelling, or at least nobody has ever complained. You'll just have to take my word for it. Secondly, to be completely authentic, although I'm 100% plant-based at home, I might very occasionally eat something that is not 100% plant-based away from home. I like having a little bit of wiggle room. An example was the other Sunday when we were enjoying lunch together after church. One of the ladies had made some plant-based sausage rolls but had accidentally put a tiny amount of egg glaze on them. But I knew she had made them especially with me in mind and had meant to glaze them with a plant-based milk. And more importantly, they had the added ingredient of love. So yes, I chose to eat a couple of them and show gratitude and love back, and I thoroughly enjoyed them without any guilt. But would I eat a meat-based sausage roll? No. A lot of people ask if they need to go fully 100% plant-based. The short answer is no. You do not have to be 100% plant-based. I care passionately about being plant-based as I know how much it's added health and vitality to my life and how much it could add it to yours too. The research shows that increasing your intake of whole plant foods is beneficial for your health long term, but you get to decide what's right for you and your personal circumstances and what is sustainable. It's important to understand how to support your body with health promoting foods, but it's a fine line to where it becomes too restrictive. You might occasionally, like me, want to have a little bit of wiggle room, even if you're aiming to be plant exclusive. You get to choose. Going plant-based is a journey, and a journey that is unique to each of us. When deciding to transition to whole food plant-based, you need to ask the question, why do I want to be more plant-based? For some of you, like myself, it might be due to having massive health challenges. For others, it might be more for the environment or for the animals. But either way, your why will help you decide how much you increase your plant intake and where you want to end up on the plant-based continuum. Maybe you don't want to end up being plant exclusive and prefer to just be in the health zone of 85% plants or greater, with the flexibility to add a little bit of animal products here and there, and that's okay. If you want to transition to be more plant-based, it's about finding and deciding what's right and works for you, what daily habits to implement, and what's sustainable for you and your loved ones. For some, the changes might be small steps over a long period of time. For others, like me, you may feel empowered to completely change your dietary pattern and way of living immediately. Customization and flexibility is key to transitioning and adapting to a whole food plant-based way of life. So in summary, whole food plant-based is a dietary pattern focusing on eating plants in their real, natural, whole form. It can be plant predominant or plant exclusive, but to achieve the greatest health benefits, one should aim to be at least 85% whole food plant-based. Whole food plant-based focuses more on the health benefits, whereas vegan focuses more on the welfare of the animals, so does not always equate to healthfulness. But it's not just about labels, but making changes, however small, to transitioning to a more plant-based lifestyle that works and feels best for you. There's no need to overcomplicate it. It's about adding more whole plant foods to your plate and becoming more plant focused. Focus on what you want to eat, not on what you don't want to eat. And any steps towards eating more whole plant foods is to be celebrated. So let's kiss plant-based together. Let's keep it super simple and sustainable. I'm Ju, a spiritual plant-based holistic lifestyle coach. I help midlife women to transition through a spiritual plant-based lifestyle and go from tiring to thriving with health and vitality. If you want to follow me, Plant Power Buddy, please press subscribe and do comment below if this was helpful or if you have any other questions. Be who you want to become. Be your personal best.